South Park has two creators. South Park is a ratchet animation. But the two creators, one of them have a net worth of 700 million, and the other has a net worth of 600 million, 1.3 billion together, by using their voice. People pay for their voice. But did you know that the Simpsons have a voice? Homer, Bart. Well, you see what I'm saying? And if you were to hear it, you would understand it because you have watched it enough. Such as certain actors and people that you know their voice even if you were not looking because you have listened long enough. There is no voice without distinction. The question I have today in the conversation is, what voice has predominance in your life? Is it the script written by men? Is it the conversations of familiarity? Or is it the voice of the Lord? And what are you willing to pay to value his voice? $700 million is the net worth because a studio has valued a man's voice that much. And I got to ask a question. What are you willing to pay to value his voice? If you didn't hear last Sunday, I want to remind you something that happened is we devalue the voice of God. I want to build on that as we're talking about the abundant life that God has given unto us. So your life is to be lived. Psalms 29, I want you to look, and I want to read with you. Psalms 29 in its entirety, because it gives us a picture of where we just came out of and what I'm talking through today. Ascribe to the Lord, sons of the mighty. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Worship the Lord in holy attire. Now, this is where we understand a departure and a declaration. When we worship and we give glory to his name, and we create an environment, we should expect to hear the voice of the Lord. When we have shouted, prayed, and praised, we should expect to hear the voice of the Lord. Now, let me give a description on what the voice of the Lord looks like. Number one, the voice of the Lord is on the waters. The God of glory thunders. So I want to use this for a moment and bring your attention to Paul's conversion. Paul testifies and says that he had an encounter with a light that shone on him, blinded him, and it was the voice of the Lord that said, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And his response was, Lord, who are you? Wait for a moment. He said, those who were around me, they saw, but they did not hear the voice. It sounded like thunder to them, but it was the voice of God to me. Don't miss what I just said. When Moses was on the mountain with God, and he was hearing from God, it sounded like thunder to all around, but to Moses, it was the voice of God. So when you understand that some people get caught up in the effects of the voice, but there was a man who valued the voice and then moved away from the voice because of the cares of his life. You might get it. His name is Elijah. And the Lord sent him a word, but because the cares of the life were surrounding him, he did not hear the voice. He said, and the Lord was not in the thunder, the lightning. The Lord was in the still small voice. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to be the thunderings on the external around you. It's that inner small voice speaking to you. This is the way, walk ye in it. And every now and then you can't have the TV on watching movies and the television on watching sitcoms and the music on that ain't bringing presence, or the crowd around that ain't honoring, valuing, and listening for his voice. You have to monitor how you move so that the conditions around you allow you to always hear that voice. That voice will save you trauma and save you trouble. That voice will lift you high and keep you above as a bridge over troubled waters. That voice is the voice that spoke to the mountains and said, mountains shall melt like wax. That voice is the one that told the Red Sea part and the ground dry, and the parting of the sea and the drying of the ground caused the people to walk through the waters. I need you to know that voice is mighty. That voice turned water out of a rock and gave a cloud by day and a fire by night. While the cloud, the desert was hot, and while the fire, it was cold at the same time. So no matter what journeying you are in, God has provision and protection. That voice tells the oceans. Have you wondered how in the world that an ocean liner can cruise through the seas, and yet the sea stop at a boundary so you can put your feet in the waters and the corridors of the Gulf, but yet it don't transgress the boundaries and overtake the land? Have you ever wondered that even the sun has a circuit, that it is following the voice of God, that it is on 12 hours it's going to shine, and on 12 hours it's going to be in its hiding place? Have you ever considered the might of his voice, that when he speaks, things happen? Today we sing manifest. When you worship, he will manifest himself. When you cry out, when you call. You see, more than you want to see what God has said manifested, his word will not return unto him void. I need you to know something. Not only is the voice of the Lord mighty, but when you look at verse 4, the voice of the Lord, look at that, is powerful. So that's why when God speaks, what did not exist manifests. He calls those things that be not as though they were. You have to interpret that and understand. What be not is what you see. As they are and as they were is what he says. So there is a distinction between what you see in your life and what he says. And in that distinction, you must pull on the voice of the Lord. You must pull on the word of the Lord. And in case you've never received the prophetic word from God, you need to know there are 66 books and over 365 principles that say, do not fear. There's your prophetic word. No matter what you're dealing with, do not fear. Do not fear the environment. Do not fear the circumstances. Do not fear the pressure. Do not fear the pains. Do not fear.